Mr. Begley and members of the board, we do have several items for board discussion this evening. It looks like Mrs. Aug will be covering the first several items, so at this time I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley, members of the board, I have two familiar items tonight, so I will be brief. First is the emergency closing plan for continuity of learning. The plan is in your board packet for your review. We have to approve this plan each year in order for the district to be allowed to use 3 online learning days as calamity days. These days would be used after our 8 calamity days that are accounted for in the calendar have already been used. So far, the past few years that this has been in place, we have not had to use these days, but it's nice to have this as an option. So this plan has to be approved by the board prior to August 1st, and so it will be on the next board agenda for approval. Any questions on that one? Okay. My next item involves our updated courses of study. In March, I brought you the math and science courses of study and talked about how we are working to modernize these documents, taking them from over 100 pages to a dozen or so in hopes of making them more user-friendly. We are doing this mainly by linking directly to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce's already created standards documents. At that time, I said that this would be an ongoing project for my department, so I'm bringing several other courses of study to the board tonight for your review. So tonight, I have health, physical education, fine arts, and world languages. Like math and science, you will notice a brief course description and links to appropriate standards. Unlike math and science, there may not be a textbook or resource listed for every course. And that's because many of the courses in these courses of studies are performance-based, or maybe they're elective courses, so we may not have an officially purchased, adopted textbook. Of course, if we do, it will be listed. And these will appear on the June 26th agenda for approval. So unless you have any questions, this concludes my second item for board discussion.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I will turn it over to Mr. Hustle as he will be covering the next 4 items.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley, members of the board. Number 3, revised administrative salary ranges. This is a simple change. The days for the bullying and harassment specialist Title IX coordinator position needs to be updated from 80 days to 101.5 days. This item will also be for approval this evening as well. Any questions over that? Number 4, extracurricular job descriptions. At our last board meeting on May 15th, 2025, the board approved the new extracurricular or revised extracurricular positions. Pending board discussion, you will then see a recommendation for approval of the job descriptions under board action for the June 26, 2025 board agenda. Any questions I can answer for you on those?
Yeah, just one question. Looking at those, there was a Roman numeral system for, I guess, the pay grades, and was 1 the highest, or was 5 the highest? Or?
Yeah, the classifications, it starts at 1 and continues up from there. Okay. So those are the different classifications, and obviously there's middle school, high school, so it is confusing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the higher the Roman numeral, the higher they are on the salary scale.
Correct,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Item number 5, bullying and harassment specialist Title IX coordinator performance contract. The recommended candidate, Shannon Cupp, will begin her contract September 1st, 2025. In the meantime, the district will need someone to be in the position for the month of August. Jenny Thompson, the previous bullying and harassment specialist, Title IX coordinator, has agreed to fill in during this time. The district recommends putting a performance contract in place for Jenny from August 1st through August 31st, 2025. Okay. Any questions about that?
Yeah.
And last, number 6 here is kitchen manager job description. With both OPSI contracts now approved by the board, the current head cook job description needs to be updated to reflect the new job title of kitchen manager. So it's literally a shift from head cook to kitchen manager. So there are no other changes to that job title than the job title. Any other questions I can answer for you? That's all the items I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item for discussion is in regard to our paving projects. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Begley, members of the board. The process of the district blacktop maintenance program is an annual bidding process. This year, the district-wide scope of work included patchwork, crack fill, and some resurfacing at the following schools: Fairfield Senior High School, Crossroads Middle School, North, East, West Compass, and Central Elementary Schools, as well as some work on Stadium Drive. The lowest responsible bid received was just over $195,000, and this was from Naira Paving. Naira has been awarded the lowest bid for the last 4 years, and the service and quality of work received has been great. In addition to this is well within the budget of the 5-year forecast that we have presented to the treasurer, and will be an agenda item on the next board meeting for approval. So you may recall this because we do go through this every single year, but I'd like to highlight what schools we've covered, and we are staying on top of our program as well as staying within the budget, within the forecast.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, our last two items are in regard to board policies. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Mrs. Hauer.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley and members of the board, I have 6 pieces of policy for your discussion this evening. All of these policies are due to House Bill 8. I'm going to actually start with letter B, policy IGBLA, promoting parental involvement. This is a new legally required policy, so this will be a new one added to our policy manual. This new policy requires that districts ensure there's several things that must be in the policy, and those are to ensure no instruction that includes sexuality content be provided to students K-3, and that any instructions grades 4 through 12 be age and developmentally appropriate. It has to ensure parents have the opportunity to review instructional materials and opportunity to opt out of instruction. A lot of these things we're already doing, but we just have to be very purposeful in making sure we are informing everyone of them and doing a checks and balance with our systems here. We have to promptly notify parents regarding substantial changes in specified student services, including counseling services or monitoring related to the student's mental, emotional, or physical health. And the policy must reinforce the fundamental right of parents to make decisions regarding the upbringing and control of their children, and that the district will in no way inhibit parental access to information that's maintained by the school. So that is the new policy, and then the rest of the policies that I'm going to discuss have little changes to them due to that new policy being in place. So letter A, policy IGAH, IGAI, family life and sex education, that's revised to add the parental notice and the opt-in out provisions that are now provided under state law. Letter C, policy IJ, guidance program, is revised to add the prompt notification to a parent of any substantial changes in student services, which we already do. And letter D, policy JHC, student health services and requirements, was revised to add more detailed language about the parental authorization for student health services. And then letters E and F, policy JHF, student safety, and policy JM, staff-student relations, was revised to remove language that's no longer needed due to it being in the new policy IGBLA. So pending any questions that you would have with these policies will be on the June 26th agenda for your approval. Any questions? All right. And then my other item for discussion is in regards to a resolution to authorize and direct OSBA to make recommended policy changes. Need to go back in time a little bit here. On April 25th of last year, back when Dr. Rice was here, he talked to you about taking action to authorize OSBA to review our board policies to identify those that were requiring updates due to House Bill 33 legislative changes that impacted the ODE and the State Board of Education. So with that action, we requested that OSBA create a chart for outlining specific policy sections requiring updates and provide us with a brief summary of those proposed edits. We did this because the needed edits are simple language changes due to department or position name changes, but impacted a large amount of our policies. So for example, ODE became ODEW. So anywhere ODE was mentioned in any of our policies, which is quite frequently, we needed to update that. So OSBA did a lot of the work for those types of changes and created us a chart, which I've shared with you earlier this week, or last week. And they've made that, they finally got back to us with that chart from when you were asked initially for them to do that. So they've identified that language, that the changes that are necessary in our district policy manual, and gave those to us, and then I've shared those with you. And those recommended updates and resolutions need to then be approved by you through a resolution at our next meeting. So at our next meeting, we would have the resolution language in there that would mention the attached chart of all the policies and those simple changes that were made for you to then approve. And then OSBA, once I let them know that we're good, they will go in and make all those updates to all the policies for us, which is very helpful.
Yes. I remember that conversation very well because it was going to be very helpful because it's minute, but monotonous because of the multitude of those minor changes, which is something that takes off your plate or his at the time, so.
Yeah,
think
I don't remember that conversation very well at the time because it didn't impact my
Right,
world in
yeah,
that moment.
yeah,
But
I remember
now
the
I'm like, I'm
discussion.
really glad he did that, so.
No, that's great, and they sent us a chart of sort of check and balances to make sure, that's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I have for discussion.
Thank you.